But the ignorant, who are the victims of self and desire, are heedless of the supreme wisdom, and their words and deeds are grounded in fancy and imagination. Prejudice and fanaticism of whatever kind are destructive to the foundation of human oneness. Since religion must be the cause of unity, harmony and agreement amongst mankind, if it is instead be the cause of discord and disunity, it should be abandoned. This is the teaching of Baha'u'llah. If religion becomes the cause of separation, he says, then it is not needed. For it lacks a remedy. If the remedy is no good, why should you use it? As long as man's prejudices continue, the world of humanity will not have rest. For a period of 6,000 years, history informs us that man has waged war for religious and other prejudices. Religion is a mighty fortress, but if the structure of religion shakes, disturbance and upset appear, and the order of things is utterly upset. So, the religion of God must train man, educate morals, cause the adoption of virtues, and is the all-inclusive power which guarantees the well-being of the world of mankind. But by religion is meant that which is proved by investigation of the truth, and not that which is based on mere imitations. The foundation of the divine religion is what we are looking for. The Lord of mankind has caused his holy divine manifestations to come into this world. He has revealed his heavenly books in order to establish a spiritual brotherhood, and through the power of the Holy Spirit has made it possible for perfect fraternity to be realized amongst mankind. And when this fraternity and agreement are established, this brotherhood and love being spiritual in character, this loving kindness being heavenly, these ties being divine, a unity appears which is unchanging and eternal. It has ever been so and will forever remain the same. The foundation of real brotherhood, the cause of loving cooperation and interchange, and the source of real kindness and unselfish devotion is none other than the influence of the Holy Spirit. What is the source of religious enmity and alienation, you may ask? The real underlying cause is lack of religious unity and association. For in each of the great religions we find superstition, blind imitation of creeds and theological dogma clung to instead of the divine fundamental elements, causing the differences and separation instead of agreement and fellowship. Therefore, hatred has arisen. Based upon this, then there is difference and disagreement. Each of the divine religions contains two aspects. Baha'is believe these two aspects are spiritual teachings, and they stay exactly the same. If you look at the spiritual teachings of every religion, they have said the same. No divine religion will come and tell you, be bad, do this, harm others. Nothing like that. It's the social principles, the second aspect, that change according to the exigencies of the time and what is required. So in these days, we know that the prophets of God, the manifestations of God have come all from East. And then on the West, we see the material development and progress. I like to suggest that there must be a unity of East and West, that there must be a coherence of this spiritual and material being, that there must be a unity of vision so that the whole world can be the global village we believe in. So in conclusion, friends, The manifestations of God, the messengers themselves, have loved, praised, and testified of each other. Why should mankind disagree and be unfriendly? God is one. We are his servants and creatures, and therefore we should live together in love and unity. Shall we show justness and goodwill towards each other, or shall we praise ourselves and condemn each other? What possible good can come from the attitude and action that are negative? On the contrary, nothing but enmity and hatred, injustice and inhumanity can be the possible result. Has not this been the cause of war in the last few years? We see a lot of them. So mankind is blessed with learning. Many are well informed in the comparative study of religions. People realize the need of unity and know the great harm which comes from prejudice and superstition. If asked, is not fellowship and brotherhood to be preferred to enmity and hatred? The answer is self-evident. Love and fellowship are absolutely needed to win the good pleasure of God, which is the goal of all human beings and all of our achievements. We must be united. We must love each other. We must shower praise upon everyone, regardless of the background, gender, age, ethnicity, country. And we must remove any barrier that is causing discord and disharmony. Otherwise, the conditions of the past will continue. Religious wars will have no end, and religious prejudice, the major cause of this trial and tribulation, will increase. This must be abandoned, and the way to do it is to investigate the reality which underlies all religions. This underlying reality is the love of our fellow human being. For God is one and humanity is one, and the only doctrine of the prophets is love and unity. However, knowledge of human conditions and the needed remedy for them is not itself the cause of betterment. A divine power is needed. And I'm sure all of us join in having that vision of world peace, unity of mankind, oneness of religion, and oneness of God, our Creator. Towards that we all can walk on this path and labor on this path of service. I invite you to join me, and I'm happy to work with you, shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand, towards that world peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As a token of our gratitude, we would like to present Dr. Abbas Mahaja and performer Ms. Yalda Ahmadi with mementos. I'd like to ask Dr. Gopal Bose to come forward to present this. Next, I'd like to divert your attention to the TV, where we'll have a presentation by Venerable Vinaya Damatero, representing Buddhism. He is from the Buddhist Vihara of Queensland. This temple is located at 108 Eric Street in Goodna.
Improve tools which helps improve the interface. So, as the first one, I'd love to share some of these teachings. So, we know that our narrative peace in interpretation. So, in these teachings, there are some virtues that everyone can develop, regardless of the religious faiths or gender, nationalities, or whatever. So the very first virtue is in the modern language we call metta, which means the love kindness. Simply means the wish of welfare of others. So if we in our hearts to improve on the clarity of the mind and the general activity.
Okay, we have to apologize for this. This was a last minute thing that we had to do. This is definitely an engineering and technical issue, not a spiritual issue. Because the Bhante, the monk, had a last minute appointment, he couldn't stay for the show, and we at 10 a.m. today. Looks like with all the engineers that are here, we couldn't get it right. So we apologize for that. Young lady, keep us going for the next part of the event.
We now move away from the faith someone who looks after us in the Australian Parliament. He was elected to the federal seat of Blair in 2007 and 5 more times after that. 5. Please welcome Honorary Mr. Shane Newman.
Well, that does make me feel very old indeed when I get that. Thank you very much. When I was asked to speak this morning, I was a bit intimidated by the fact that I saw so many theologians and spiritual leaders, and I'm not a theologian, I'm a politician. And but I will tell my story in a sense, because the politic is personal. I grew up in a working class family. My dad was a cleaner in the meatworks, and Mum was a shop assistant in the back of Ipswich East State Primary School, in a working class family. It was a family that was quite complex in the sense that it was afflicted by alcoholism, domestic and family violence, and gambling addiction as well. But in many ways it was quite simple, because we played sport on Saturday, we went to church on Sunday, and we supported the Labor Party. It was a pretty simple life. But across the road from me, there was a man who I admired and respected, who I didn't always agree with, but he was a union leader. His name was Charles Digger Murphy. He lived to about 100 years of age. Digger, as he was affectionately known, would always be there on Labor Day in Ipswich. We celebrated that yesterday, and so I was reminded about Digger's life. Now, Digger believed in 3 things. Apart from having a number of daughters, he believed in 3 things: playing golf, the Viking Swimming Club, and supporting the Communist Party. Now, Digger tried to recruit me on multiple occasions to the Communist Party, but told me that it was the issue of faith that prevented me from becoming a communist. I tried to tell him that he had a faith as well, but refused to believe that. Faith, I thought, was important, and I believed not in revolution but in evolution. I believed in social democracy, parliamentary system of government, and the separation of powers. That is, a separate judiciary, legislature and executive. But I also believed in the Christian faith. And my faith growing up was about the faith of St Paul and faith, hope and love, and the greatest of these being love. And I'm sure you've heard that passage being spoken of in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 at many weddings. It was the faith that found in John's Gospel, chapter 15, about giving your life for your fellow human being. Or the faith in Romans chapter 12 about service and sacrifice. But also the faith in the Son of God, Jesus of Nazareth, talking about faith in the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, that talked about that blessed are the peacemakers, for they should be called the children of God. So I also believe, like David, that there are paths in which we can celebrate and enjoy spirituality. And that unity of humanity comes from different expressions of spirituality. I feel very much at home here, Swamiji, because you know very well I've got you plenty of federal government grants over the years. But in addition to that, I've also feel very much at home because I recognise people of various faith. I learnt when I was much younger that faith was so important. But it wasn't just faith, it had to be faith with works. So I wasn't a communist, I was a communitarian. I believed in community, not communism. And I believe that our community is a multi-faith, multicultural community. But we have always been that, because our First Nations people had different faith systems in the time of dreamings and storytelling. So we don't recognise and haven't recognised that until probably the 1980s in Australia, when we became used to the word multicultural. I think it's important for us, as Dr. Abbas said before, that we respect one another. It's not just about toleration, it's about respect and that active communitarian caring for one another. Every great religion believes in the second great commandment in mind, about loving your neighbour as yourself. And every great religion should think about that and treat one another with that great respect. I think extremisms of the far left and the far right are both anti-religion and both anti-spiritual. I think it's critical in our democracy in which we live today that we respect one another and give our First Nations people a voice. But I think it's important that all of us should give every person's religion a voice and should be accepted in the polity and in the discourse of our community. Too often in our country there is criticism of religion, as if there is no acceptance of the good works that all various religions do. So it's important we today come together in unity of humanity and spirituality and recognise that. So I want to thank you all for what you do in your various communities, how you put that second greatest commandment into practice, loving your neighbour as yourself. And as we think about that, and as we are on the dawn or the eve, can I just say, of a budget where there'll be much comment on the economic. Today we're commenting on the ecumenic, which is very different. But it shouldn't be, because people's spirituality should be linked to their materiality. And it's crucial that that's the case. So thank you very much for the invitation today. In my political life, my faith is so important to me. Each and every day I endeavour to pray and I read my Bible. Today, for the theologians, I'll explain to me 2 Chronicles, which I read this morning, or parts thereof, because I'm sure I don't understand that parts. And there are many things in all spiritual books that are difficult. So thank you very much for this moment of unity, moment of coming together, the ecumenic, not the economic. So thank you very much today. As we enjoy fellowship over a meal, that material is common to us, but the spirituality will be expressed in the conversations that we have together. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite Sharon Shah to present Mr. Shane Newman with a token of gratitude. We now have a change of pace. A devotional song by Chinku Jobin and Dipu from the St. Thomas Church community.
Hello, mic check.
Hello.
തന്നതല്ലാതൊന്നും ഇല്ല എന്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ദൈവത്തിൻ്റെ സ്നേഹം പോലെ മറ്റൊന്നില്ല പാരിടത്തിൽ ഇന്നോളം ദൈവമെന്നെ കാത്തതോർത്തു പോകുകിൽ എത്ര കാലം ജീവിച്ചെന്നാലും നന്ദിയേകിത്തീരുമോ ദൈവം തന്നതല്ലാതൊന്നും ഇല്ല എന്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ദൈവത്തിൻ്റെ സ്നേഹം പോലെ മറ്റൊന്നില്ല പാരിടത്തിൽ നാളം തെളിയുമ്പോൾ ആത്മാവിൽ പ്രകാശമായി ഇരുളലമൂടും ഹൃദയത്തിൽ നിന്റെ തിരുവചനം ദീപ്തിയായി കാൽവരിക്കുന്നെൻ മനസ്സിൽ കാണും നിന്നു ഞാൻ ക്രൂശിതന്റെ സ്നേഹരൂപം ഓർത്തു പാടും ഞാൻ പോയെന്റെ ദൈവമേ പ്രാണന്റെ ഗേഹമേ നിന്നിൽ മറയട്ടെ ഞാൻ ദൈവം തന്നതല്ലാതൊന്നും ഇല്ല എന്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ദൈവത്തിൻ്റെ സ്നേഹം പോലെ മറ്റൊന്നില്ല പാരിടത്തിൽ സങ്കടത്തിൽ പങ്കുചേരും ദൈവമാശ്വാസം പകർന്നിടും എന്നിൽ
സന്തോഷത്തിൻ വേളയേകും ദൈവമാശ്വാസം പകർന്നിടും. പിഴവുകളേറ്റു ചെന്നാൽ ക്ഷമയരുളും. തിരുഹൃദയം എനിക്കായി തുറന്നു തരും. ഓ എന്റെ ദൈവമേ, ജീവന്റെ മാർഗമേ, നിന്നോടു ചേരട്ടെ ഞാൻ. ദൈവം തന്നതല്ലാതൊന്നും ഇല്ല എന്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ. ദൈവത്തിന്റെ സ്നേഹം പോലെ മറ്റൊന്നില്ല പാരിടത്തിൽ. ഇന്നോളം ദൈവമെന്നെ കാത്തതോർത്തു പോകുകിൽ. എത്ര കാലം ജീവിച്ചെന്നാലും നന്ദിയേകിത്തീരുമോ. ദൈവം തന്നതല്ലാതൊന്നും ഇല്ല എന്റെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ. ദൈവത്തിന്റെ സ്നേഹം പോലെ മറ്റൊന്നില്ല പാരിടത്തിൽ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next talk will be by Dennis Bartram, a chaplain from the Ipswich Hospital. A friend of the Vedanta Centre, he has graced our events before. A migrant from Scotland with a rich and diverse family history. A doctor, mainly performing skin cancer surgeries. Currently an interfaith seminarian who has always been interested in the study of comparative religion. Please welcome Dr. Dennis Bartram.
That's all right. Look, thank you very much for the invitation, and my apologies. My apologies for getting here late and missing the first talk. I do apologise. We left with plenty of time, but the GPS worked against our best intentions and we got lost. And we found ourselves within about a kilometre of here, but on the other side of this forest. And I initially started to get a little bit stressed. I mean, it's the most stressful day of the year for me, this one, because it's the only day of the year that I have to find two socks that are the same colour. But as we were walking along this path, my wife and I, we went through a bit of a swamp. Our feet got wet and we thought, well, this is all for the Swami. Then I thought, Swami has fiddled with the GPS. He's been praying this morning. His topic today is about many paths, many faiths, and he's trying me out to see if I'm actually going to get here. Thanks, Swami. So we've heard a lot of wonderful things this morning about various manifestations from the East. Jesus, Yahweh, Baha'u'llah, Muhammad. Shane and I from the West, we're from Ipswich. We don't really hold ourselves up there with the other manifestations, but we'll do our best. So thank you, Swami, for this invitation. I look forward to this occasion every year because I love the premise of it, the idea of getting people together. I'd like to share a little story with people about my return to East Timor last year with a bunch of veterans. I'm a defence veteran, been a few places, and they chose Timor because it's a place that we didn't mess up. It's not far away, and they're known for their forgiveness of their enemies. I was there and I was having problems with, excuse me, connectivity. Not that lot, but talking to my crazy wife at home. I asked a few people and they said, well, I've got no idea what's going on. Go and talk to young Adrian, who's a 38-year-old commando who'd had 5 trips to Afghanistan and completely and utterly mentally decompensated a year or so ago and needed ECT therapy and what have you. But he's an absolute genius with technical stuff. So I said, the problem, Doc, is with your VPN. I thought, well, that's great. Here comes another bloody TLA. What does that mean? Well, your virtual private network. Please elaborate. Anyway, it turns out that he says, because I'm not very techie, it's a bit like having one pipe inside a big pipe. Your pipe allows you to get where you want to go but exclude other people. And that got me thinking. Not saying it is the case, but I think it can be the case, that sometimes our faiths act a little bit like a VPN. We're going in the same direction, got the same intentions, but we don't talk enough to the people to either side because of a degree of encryption in our scriptures, in our talk, in our actions. So how do we escape these spiritual VPNs? I don't know, but I should get on to the Swami's theme, with which I am charged. How does my faith help an individual to recognise diversity in other faiths? He always asks rippers. Any agnostics here besides me? So the idea of being an agnostic is a term introduced by Thomas Huxley, Aldous Huxley's father, back in the 1870s. And it doesn't mean you don't believe in God, it just means you're not really sure. And some would argue that we're probably all agnostics because we're hoping, but no one's actually come back and specifically banged me on the head and said this is true. So I try and keep as much as I can an open mind, and I love all spiritualities. I was baptised and confirmed as an Anglican, and I was looking at maybe becoming an Anglican priest some years back. And in a sense, I'm glad I still have that Anglican background, but I've been really keen to explore other faiths, which is what led me to the Interfaith Seminary in America. During my introduction, I was still a seminarian. I've now graduated through that, just enough to know absolutely nothing about anything in particular, and very keen to learn. I love wearing this dog collar. It takes the piss out of a lot of people that take themselves too bloody seriously, but also it allows me to be recognised. And I work as a hospital chaplain, and the other day, a fellow chaplain and myself were walking through palliative care, and this lady came distraught and said, my God, are you a priest? I said, well, I'm not God, I'm not really a priest, but what's going on? And they said, well, my father's just died. So I was with a Roman Catholic chaplain, and I said, well, did your dad have any particular faith? They said, yes, Roman Catholic. And I said, hey, Barry, get over here, you know all about the Pope and that stuff, need your help. So we went into that room, we listened, we held hands with the recently dead dad, mum, daughter. And at the end of that time, they were both in tears, we weren't far off either. And I said, as I normally do, well, what do you want, mum? Hug or hand? Great big hug. And she said, well, you better hug the daughter too. Great big hug. And we sort of walked out of the room as though we'd been shot out of a cannon, but we thought, wow, they saw this collar, must mean something. The others are a bit too chicken to wear one, so we're going to get a different coloured T-shirt, but what the hell, as long as they can recognise us. So I see patients and families in great distress in the hospital, and I am very comfortable with that. I wouldn't always have been, but I am now. I like especially talking to those that are agnostic or have let their faith go or are atheists. I like to sit down with them where they're at and explore where they're at and where they want to go. What I feel I am able to do at times is to listen to their stories, take their guilt for not having gone to church recently, for not keeping up observances, and let them realise that the spirituality that they have inside them, which they may yet not have recognised, is alive and well, and help them, maybe, just maybe, to find it. I mean, you've got to admit they're in hospital. It's perfect. They're in a bed. They can't bloody well escape. So I can namaste them to death. Okay, Swami's saying there, I can just see him bouncing up and down. Get to the point. How do I assist others to recognise diversity in other faiths? Well, first of all, I sit down with them. I learnt this trick when I was a doctor. If you sit down, they think you're there for twice as long. If you stand at the door twirling your keys, or stand at the end of the bed, time goes very, very quickly. And the lack of attention, lack of specificity is loud. So I listened attentively. Haven't got my phone with me, I don't need it. I give them permission to doubt. I give them permission to fail and seek forgiveness, not from me, but from whatever I can transmit to them. First of all, I encourage them to accept diversity in me and for me to accept diversity in myself, such that they can then accept them in themselves. I relish disagreement. I love people that say, it's all rubbish, because I've learnt so much more when people disagree with me. We all agree it's sort of a bit bland. I just love to talk about some of these things, and every time I learn something. Lastly, I can reassure these people that there is only one race, the human race. This idea of lots of races is a bit of a white supremacist construct from far too long ago. There is only one race. And it's the role of all of us to help everybody to the finishing line. So in conclusion, I would like to read, it's okay, it's only one little paragraph, a little saying by one of the people I think a lot of, Al-Hallaj, who lived from 888 to 922, a Sufi mystic from Baghdad. And this particular paragraph is called The One. I have meditated on the different religions, endeavouring to understand them, and I have found that they stem from a single principle with numerous ramifications. Do not therefore ask a man to adopt a particular religion rather than another, for this would separate him from the fundamental principle. It is this principle itself which must come to seek him. Thank you.
To express our gratitude, we'd like to present Dr. Dennis Bartram with a memento. I'd like to invite Shankar Kota to do the honours. If he looks familiar, that's because he's my dad. I would argue I'm a bit better looking than him though. Next, we have a very special presentation. The person in the presentation will tell you more about herself and her message to the people that she comes in contact with. We request you to turn your attention to the TV screen for this very special treat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I greet you with the traditional Islamic greeting of peace and abundant blessings from the One God. My name is Princess Ramakrishna. I am grateful to be invited by the Vedanta Centre, Brisbane chapter, to this beautiful multi-faith event. My deepest apologies that I'm not there in person. Inshallah, God willing, this pre-recorded video serves as a means to effectively deliver the message that is included in my speech today. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity today to share my perspectives on the theme this year. As many faiths, so many hearts. And especially my perspectives on how my faith helps an individual to recognize diversity in other faiths. I wish to start by seeking our Creator's blessing. In Arabic, Muslims refer to the Creator as Allah. I pray that Allah blesses me with the right words for today's speech, and Allah blesses each one of you, dear listeners, to understand my words and the true intention of my words, and may there be zero confusion or misconstruction of my words. Ameen Ya Rab. I wish to also point out, my dear sisters, brothers, and children in the audience, I wish to point out that my perspectives today are my own and do not represent the collective Muslim population's perspectives about diversity in faith. As I am sure that your own individual perspectives on any matter are your own. I am a practicing Muslim. However, I was not born in a Muslim family. I embraced Islam out of choice in 2012. No, it was not for marriage reasons, because I was very much a single woman in my search of my own truth and my personal connection with my Creator. My search started
We now have a dance interlude, Pushpanjali, performed by Mallarville Kandaya students. Mallarville's dance school is known as Sri Abhinaya Bharatalayam. They conduct classical Indian Bharatanatyam dances every Wednesday evening in the community hall downstairs in the Vedanta Centre. Classes are available for all ages. Please welcome them to the front.
మూషిక వాహన మోదక మదనమోదక చామర కర్ణ వివందిత సూత్ర దిక్కుతాం దిక్కుతాం దిక్కుత తిరిదత్తం ఉదకితకిన తుంగతోదకదాం తోదకదాం తోది వామన రూప మహేశ్వర పుత్ర విఘ్న వినాయక పాద నమస్తే వామన రూప మహేశ్వర పుత్ర విఘ్న వినాయక పాద నమస్తే పాద నమస్తే పాద నమస్తే నమస్తే
Our next speaker is commonly seen at various interfaith talks. He is also the author of a book on Sufi meditation. Please welcome Dr. Arslan Muzaffari Falarti to the front.
That was beautiful. Honestly, that was beautiful. And doctor, you did what I wanted to do, then why should I talk? You read something from Hallaj. You read something from Hallaj, from your book. And thank you for that. So, I'm glad. I want to narrate a saying of a 9-year-old boy. A comment from a 9-year-old martyred Iranian boy. In the name of God of the rainbow. In the name of the God of the rainbow. 9-year-old boy. May feeling in my heart, thoughts in my mind, words on my tongue, be blessed by thy divine love and wisdom. The theme is how an individual recognizes diversity in different faiths. Let us talk about love. I usually talk about love because I don't know anything else. And I think love is enough to. We trust many of us have drank a few drops from the goblet of love. And many of us, it could be still or intoxicated from having those drops. Really, if there was no love in this world, what else was? When a person in love sees their beloved, their heart beats faster and faster. the color of their face becomes red. Their hands tremble. And when they try to say something, they even forget the simplest word. They lose themselves in the moment. Isn't it true? Thank you. And beautiful. As the love is blind, then gender, color, religion, nationality, education, wealth stand in the society of people does not matter at all, does it? All love. Love is all. Anybody, anywhere they may be, and any language they may speak. All is love. It's only 11 pages, not more. Can I admit that people are different? Can we admit that people are individual and unique? Do we believe that love, each one is different from the love of another person? That's all love. If so, anyone can, let me get my glasses. If so, how can anyone claim that they are able to assess, judge, or value other people's sentiment and emotions? For instance, how might I express my love for you? Duset daram. Duset daram. That is, I love you in Persian. I was going to do something, but I think you are tired. I was going to ask you, please stand, look round, choose a person, look into the eye, and tell him, I love you in any language you like. Do you like to do that, or you are tired? It makes you ready for a big lunch. Thank you. Thank you. And we say, Duset daram, Duset daram, Duset daram. In Islam, in Arabic language, we say, Ana ahibbuk. Ti amor in Italian. Je t'aime in French. Si agapo in Greek. Wani in Chinese. Ich liebe dich. I love you in German. And ik van you in Belgium. And again, Duset daram. And please love each other. Therefore, who am I Arsalan Muzaffari Falati, something, something. As a human member of the Sufi order, who himself is another human, limited in all dimensions, to make a judgment on feeling, thoughts, even apparent deed or manners of another person. Why should I do that? Who am I to make any decision about that? We are to love each other. A 9-year-old boy martyred from Iran, he said, in the name of the God of the rainbow. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it out of love? What did this boy mean? Did he mean that there are so many gods and one of them has created the rainbow? Or there are so many rainbows created by only God? Where were we? Wherever we are standing on the I should say this, I forgot to write it here. The creation is like a big circle. There is one center and a circumference. The center is our creator. God, Vishnu, Jesus, Muhammad, you name it. Doesn't make much difference. Circumference is us. How many people are there on this circumferences? But there is only one center. Many faiths, but one creator. Sufis believe that the creator of the whole existence is the one and the only one. But people, to connect and restore to him, choose a name close to their heart. I love to say to God, Allah, or Ahura. Ahura is what the Zarathustra the first time gave the name of Ahura. Somebody said Yehovah. Somebody says Buddha. The other person says that something else. Shakespeare, he said, what is in a name? What is in a name? The feeling of the heart. Do you agree, my friend? The people cast their faith in that name with love, sins, and sincerity, according to their own pace that they are traveling on the radius of that circumference towards the center. Rumi says, Peter, David, you like it. Rumi says, ما درون را ننگریم و قال را بل درون را بنگریم و حال را. Dr. Abbas, isn't it? We observe tranquility and quiet condition of the heart. We don't worry that what are you pretending, talking, or making fuss. We want your heart, not the deed of your limbs, the talks of your tongue. A Sufi understands that when creation of people varies from one person to the other one, when people express themselves in different languages, which is strange to other one, When people are different in color, size, and shape, as well as their feeling, understanding, the way they express their feeling of love in their heart, of their opinion, their taste, the way they are thinking, deciding, all of them are different. The way we love each other is different. The way we express our love is different. Sufi does not allow themselves to be the assessor, the judge. Sufis are panovas. Any circle has infinity points on around the circumstance, but only one center. Each one of us, we walk toward that center, but we walk individually. Each point on circumstances of the circle has an individual and private connection by the radius to the center. So, my friends, my dear friends, دوستتون دارم. I love you. From where I stand on the circle as a dervish or Sufi, I can see you all standing on the circle, facing the center. So we are doing the same thing. No matter if we are a politician, a peasant, or a priest. So many faiths. There cannot be many, may not be any diversion in faith. One occasion, one creator, one creation, one love, expressed different. People fall in love and stay in love and stay in love to the end. The way people express their love to their creator is individual. Is individual. And it may seem strange to other people. Each one is different. The way to express our feeling in the heart. That's finished. Oh, this is that. Please do think, my sisters and brothers, of the circle. We are all dots on the circle. Any circle has infinite points on that. And then so many paths. Sufis believe in one creator, one face to that creator. One person path is different from the path from the other one. I go from this way, you go from that way, somebody from that way to the center. Maybe we are walking in different directions. Exactly different. But we are still trying to do the thing. So everybody sees different paths, different face. A dervish sees one point, one love, everyone the same. So, Sufi believes in one creator, one face to the creator, one person who walks on the path of love. All the diversity is only illusion. You are going to help me to walk down.
Thank you so much. We would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Filarti by presenting him with a memento. We will now have a second performance by the Mullerville Dance Group. Please welcome them back. We conclude the series of events today with a message from Swami Aksharatmanandaji, who has traveled all the way from Sri Lanka to be here today to speak on the subject of Hinduism. Please give him a warm welcome.
सर्वधर्मस्थापकस्त्वं सर्वधर्मस्वरूपकः आचार्याणां महाचार्यो रामकृष्णाय ते नमः सुरासुरासेवितपादपङ्कजा करे विराजत्कमनीयपुस्तका विरिञ्चि पत्नी कमलासनस्थिता सरस्वती नित्यतु वाचि मे सदा. Good afternoon, all the dignitaries and assembled devotees. I am very happy to participate in this interfaith meeting. In fact, this is the need of the day. From time immemorial, the quest for the purpose of life was going on in various places. Recently, a book was published, Modern Man in Search of a Soul. But actually, in search of a soul was time immemorial. From the beginning, man was searching for some purpose and goal of life. This search has led to different methods and pathways, depending on their locality and customs, background, the climate, habits, because they have evolved different pathways. And following those pathways, many have achieved illumination and reached the goal also. But one thing was lacking, there was no intercommunication between these pathways. So about 200 years ago, from India, a saintly person came, that is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He had the quest to know the value or validity of different faiths and paths. For the first time in history, he practiced the different paths in his life and found that they all take the mankind to the same goal. Only the goal appears to be different because they are different background. Because they were practiced by different people. So it is naturally bound to be so. But since a single person practiced them, he understood this difference is material, the goal is same. So he proclaimed his sentence, as many faiths, so many paths. But at the same time, we should not think it's a new discovery. It's not a new. Many thousands years ago, the Indian Vedic seers, they also declared in their language, that is in Sanskrit, ekam sat vipraha baudha vadanti. The truth is one, but sages call it by various names. Names differ, but the ultimate reality is one and the same. So Sri Ramakrishna's contribution is to revalidate the ancient truth and revalidate or to demonstrate the harmony of all this faith. It is the greatest contribution for the mankind to establish the harmony of truth. And he used to give one example to illustrate his discovery or rediscovery, whatever it is. In a house, a mother cooks different food to suit the digestive capacity of the children. It may be the same item, but she cooks in a different way. For grown-up people, a rich food. At the same time, very bland food. Easy to digest food for younger ones and those who have got a weaker stomach. The same food cannot be given to everyone. It is understood, it is known fact. The same way, approach of religion also varies from person to person. So, all people can't follow the same type of discipline. We can't expect a beginner to go into deep meditation or yoga practices. So like that, variations are necessary. So these variations are natural and bound to be. The same truth expressed by Swami Vivekananda in a slightly different form, that he told, unity and variety is the plan of nature. To understand this unity and variety, we have got so many examples around us. For example, you can see this garland, beautiful garland. It has got many colors, different flowers, colors and everything. So that gives the beauty. If it is the same color, only a single color, that beauty goes. It becomes almost boring, bland. As a garland, it's a single unity. It is unified. A single object, garland. But it has got varieties in it, having different colors. Same thing applies to flower vase or a garden. Or in our food habit also. In daily food habit, we have got different taste. We can have different, same variety all along. Dressing also, we have got so many varieties. So as human beings, we are all humans, united, but we have got varieties. That forms the society, a unified society, but with differences. To suit their own needs is known as Desha Kala Nimitta in Sanskrit. According to different places and customs and habit, needs, so we have got different approaches, but still we are one. This is known as Yatra Vishvam Bhavat Eka Needam. The whole universe comes as a small village where we all live together harmoniously, shaking hand and embracing each other. Udara Charitanandu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is another saying. For a broad-minded man, the whole world is a one family. So we belong to one family with common goal, but different habits, different customs. This truth has been given to us by seers and sages, but recently, as I told you earlier, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has demonstrated in his life for our convenience. Those who have got a doubt, this doubt's natural for any religious seeker. As time passes, there creeps in many unwanted practices. It is common in all religion, in all walks of life also. So that creates doubts in the minds of sincere devotees. Which is right, which is wrong? Oh, are we going the right path or not? So, corrections are necessary, clarifications are necessary. As told by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, time to time, the Lord takes the form of human and clarifies all the doubts and demonstrates and establishes the dharma for the sake of the benefit of all. So that has been found in Sri Ramakrishna's life. So he was the latest edition of this divine personality. He and Swami Vivekananda repeatedly the thing, we human beings, basically we are all divine. The divinity is the common for all. It's our own property. But as humans having the same divinity, we may appear different, external. These differences are external, but the source, the core, the basic thing is the divinity. Today I heard from various speakers the divinity. They are also expressing the word divinity and unity of humankind. So that is the purpose of today's interfaith meeting. If this meeting can help majority of the people at large, to bring the humankind into one umbrella. As we are human, we are one, but we may have different paths, different ideas to reach the same goal. We are going towards the same goal. We are progressing towards the same goal. That should be in our mind, and I feel today's meeting has contributed to a great extent the same idea, so that we can cherish that idea in our mind, and in turn we can give it to others also, whomever we meet, and those who could not come here, they all must get this message, and they can spread the message all over the world, so that we can have a harmonious world with a humankind, what you call mankind, united. Not that we are different, we are all one, because of the basic divinity in us. Thank you very much for us. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Maharaj. Well, you saw me at the start of the day saying good morning. Well, now I'll say good afternoon. So therefore, we all know where your mind is. It's not with me, but with your stomachs. Understandable. But before I send you on your way to feed the part of you that wants to be fed the most, first of all, some apologies. The day didn't go exactly to plan, and despite the voluminous number of engineers that we have in our presence, we couldn't make it go to plan. Things just kept failing. I suppose it's a reflection of our own lives. Things keep failing and we keep recovering. But we've recovered. At least you can go for lunch soon. Secondly, a big thank you. A big thank you to Sampada, who was your MC for most of the day. I mean, given the fact that she is a young person, it's great to know that she's willing to spend her day with us, listening to speeches from us, rather than being out in a shopping center whiling away her time. To that, I give her great credit, and I would like all of you to put your hands together for her. One last thing, when she started, she said, out with the old, in with the new. I just want to say that the old will always have the last word. A big thank you to all those who came up here to speak. Tomorrow is a public holiday as well, so it's a long weekend. We've disrupted your weekend, and it's nice to know that you're willing to spend some time here with us, expounding some virtues for a greater good. So a big thank you to all the speakers, a big thank you to all those who performed, musicians, dancers alike. And a big thank you to everyone who's turned up here, because without you, there's no point having this. There's no point having a message to send out if there's no one to listen to that message. A special thank you to Mr. Shane Newman, our federal MP. And we hope that he will be able to take back to the haloed halls of power that he works in, that there is a silent rebellion going on among a small group of people who's looking out and wants love, peace, and oneness for all. And lastly, a big thank you to the Ramakrishna Mission for existing for the last 125 years in all parts of the world, on just about every continent. So a big thank you to everyone. So my final 2 words, can we have all our speakers and performers out at the front of the room, just beyond the door, to have a photo session? And for everybody else, please make your way to the hall downstairs for a really good home-cooked meal. Thank you very much, everyone.